Imagine it's a Monday morning in 2010. The purchasing manager at Acme Manufacturing walks into the office, opens a filing cabinet, and pulls out a stack of paper purchase orders. She manually checks each one against a printed vendor list. She phones the supplier to confirm delivery dates. She writes up a summary in a spreadsheet, emails it to the finance team, and waits, sometimes days, for a response. Now imagine the same manager in 2025. She opens her laptop, logs into a cloud portal, and sees the real-time status of every purchase order, automatically matched to inventory levels, supplier confirmations, and budget approvals, all in one screen. What changed? Digitalization. Welcome to the first module of the Slight Consulting Internal Training Program. In this video, we are going to cover the digitalization journey, what it means, why it matters, and how it has shaped the world of enterprise technology that we work in every day. By the end of this 10-minute module, you will be able to, first, define digitalization and distinguish it from digitization and digital transformation, three terms that are often confused. Second, describe the key stages of the digitalization journey, from manual paper-based processes through to fully integrated digital systems. And third, explain the business drivers that have pushed organizations like Acme Manufacturing and our clients to make this journey. Let us begin. Let us come back to Acme Manufacturing. In its pre-digital state, Acme ran its business almost entirely on paper and telephone. The finance team maintained ledgers manually. The procurement team tracked purchase orders in filing cabinets, 3 rooms of them. Inventory counts were done on paper forms, collected weekly, and entered into a single shared spreadsheet by one person. One person. The consequences were predictable. Data was always out of date. Errors from manual entry were common. Different departments held different versions of the same information. Decisions were made on gut feel because real-time data simply did not exist. And when the finance director asked for a consolidated view of cash position across all business units, that required 3 people for days and more than a few arguments about whose spreadsheet was correct. This is the world our clients were operating in before SAP. And in some cases, it is still partially the world they are in when they come to us. The first answer to paper's limitations did not arrive on every desk. It arrived in a single, room-sized machine. From the 1950s through the 1970s, large organizations, banks, airlines, government departments, began processing their records on mainframe computers. For the first time, calculations that once took a team of clerks days could be completed in hours. But this was automation for the few, not the many. Data was fed in on punch cards and processed in overnight batches, never in real time. Only specialist operators could run these systems. The business user was still nowhere near the data. It was a giant leap in processing power, but the information was still locked away, just in a different kind of cabinet. In the 1980s and 1990s, computing power finally left the specialist's room and reached the ordinary desk. The personal computer put processing into the hands of the business user. Spreadsheets, first Lotus 123, then Microsoft Excel, replaced the bound ledger book. Data entry was no longer an IT-only task. It became an everyday business skill. Local databases like DBase and Access began storing structured records, and printers replaced handwriting for most documents. This was the era of basic digitization. Information had become digital, but the processes around it were still largely manual, and the data still lived in silos. Every spreadsheet was its own island, sitting on its own hard drive. Spreadsheets solved one problem but created another. Everyone had their own copy, and no two agreed. The relational database was the quantum leap beyond the spreadsheet. Data was organized into structured tables, rows and columns, where every record shared the same fields, perfectly and consistently. More importantly, that data became queryable. Using SQL, a business could ask precise questions across millions of records and get an answer in seconds. Tables could be linked to one another, so a customer record connected automatically to every order, invoice, and payment. For the first time, data was not just stored, it was structured, connected, and ready to be put to work. This is the foundation that everything which follows is built upon. This is where the journey reaches the destination most of our clients are aiming for: a single, unified system. In the 1990s and 2000s, Enterprise Resource Planning (ERP) brought every department onto one database. Finance, HR, procurement, sales, and distribution were no longer separate islands, but one system, one database, one version of the truth. SAP R/3, launched in 1992, was the world's first widely adopted client-server ERP system. Once an organization reached this stage, a purchase order raised in procurement automatically updated the finance ledger and the inventory records. Data flowed between modules without anyone rekeying it. For the first time, the business had a single source of truth. And the journey did not stop at integration. From the 2010s to today, the record moved to the cloud. Servers are now run by cloud providers, AWS, Azure, Google, with no physical hardware on premises. Employees in different cities, countries, and time zones all access the same live data simultaneously. The destination modern enterprises are aiming for is the intelligent enterprise. Real-time data, predictive analytics, and machine learning that surfaces insights before a human would even know to look. This is where SAP is taking its customers today, and where we, as consultants, help them go. Let us step back and see the whole journey on one screen. From handwritten paper ledgers before the 1950s, to room-sized mainframes processing punch cards, to personal computers and spreadsheets on every desk, to integrated ERP systems built on relational databases, and finally to cloud and real-time data today. Notice the pattern. Each generation of technology solved the limitations of the one before it and opened the door to the one that followed. No single leap, but a continuous journey. And every one of our clients is somewhere on this line right now. When Acme Manufacturing implemented its integrated ERP system, here is what changed. The purchasing manager we met at the beginning of this video no longer needs the filing cabinet. Every purchase order is created digitally, routed for approval automatically based on value thresholds, and transmitted electronically to the supplier. The confirmation comes back the same way. The inventory system updates automatically when goods are received. The finance ledger updates automatically when the invoice is matched. The finance director who previously waited 4 days for a cash report, she now opens a dashboard at 8 a.m. and sees the consolidated cash position, live, across every business unit. No spreadsheets, no arguments, no waiting. And when a supplier notifies Acme of a 3-week delay on a critical component, the system immediately surfaces which production orders are at risk, what alternative suppliers are available, and what the cost impact of each option is. A decision that once took a week can now be made in an afternoon. Let us take a moment to consolidate what we have covered. First, the vocabulary matters. Digitization converts information to digital format. Digitalization redesigns processes using digital technology. Digital transformation reshapes the entire organization. When you are speaking with a client, use these terms precisely. Second, the journey is staged from paper to basic digitization to system adoption to integration, and finally to the intelligent enterprise. Most of our clients are somewhere in the middle. Our job is to understand where they are and help them move forward. Third, the drivers are real and urgent: competitive pressure, cost reduction, compliance obligations, and organizational resilience. When a client asks why they need to change, you now have 4 concrete, evidence-based answers. Digitalization is not a trend. It is the foundation of every SAP project you will work on. Every configuration you make, every process you design, every system you implement, all of it is in service of this journey. Before you move on, head back to the LMS and complete the short quiz for this module. 10 questions, a mix of multiple choice and true or false, covering the definitions, the stages, and the business drivers we have just discussed. The quiz is not timed, but you will need a passing score before the next module unlocks. In the next module, we move from the concept of digitalization to the technology that powers it at scale, enterprise resource planning, or ERP. We will look at what an ERP system actually is, why companies need one, and how SAP became the world leader in this space. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Slight Consulting.